Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shakti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. Somebody asked me the other day, what is Shakti? That's a very big question. I talk about it some, but not all the levels of what you come to know. So let's start this way. To a yogi, there's energy that flows in the body, causes the heart to beat constantly your entire life, causes your breath to go in and out, the lungs to expand and contract. The energy is used for all sorts of things. You get energy not just from your food. You get energy from this energy flowing inside. In yoga, they call it prana. That's Shakti within the body. In the East, they call it chi. That is what the whole acupuncture thing's all about, is that there's energy flowing through the body and through the subtle energy system within the body, and it can get blocked. And when it's blocked, when energy's, like imagine if the energy couldn't flow into your heart, it wouldn't beat. Or if it flowed unevenly, just boom, juddering in and out, then the heart would do that, and the lungs would do that. Well, if the energy is not flowing properly through the body, it causes illnesses to all your organs, to all kinds of things. And so in the East, China, I think, started it, they studied this energy. It's very much the traditional Chinese medicine is acupuncture. And yogis use it for meditation, use it for going deep inside. They want the prana to flow evenly. All of it's the same stuff. They just give different names for the energy when it's doing different things. You give different names to that energy. You call them emotions. To a yogi, that's a joke. What is an emotion? It's energy, isn't it? You have trouble handling the emotions. It's just energy. It's just energy. It's not even there. But because you can't handle that vibration, it's like wind. If wind blows extremely hard, you want to get out of it. You don't want to handle it. You keep it away from me, right? If it flows subtle or gentle or a little bit strong, it can be refreshing. It can be nice. It's still wind. Emotions are energy that is not flowing, well, I don't want to say properly, certainly negative emotions, lower vibration emotions are energy that have hit blockages that you stored inside your system, and then they bounce off of that. It's exactly analogous to if there's a stream flowing and there's no impediments in it. It's very clean stream bed, very clean, no rocks, nothing, very clean. There's not going to be eddies or rapids or sprays. It's just going to flow. Take one rock and put it in that flow, one, and all of a sudden there's eddies, rapids, spray, currents, okay? That's what happens to your energy system inside. So if you have blockages, we'll talk about all this later as we go on, but if you have blockages inside to the energy flow, the blockages are not stones or rocks, they're blockages to the energy flow. And so if the energy hits them, if chi, the Shakti, the prana, call it whatever you want, I call it all Shakti because it is all Shakti. There's giving different names as it expresses itself at different levels. If that energy hits these blockages, it shoots out. That is what your emotions are. That is what anger is, what jealousy is, what insecurity is, what self-conscious is. It's changes in the energy flow. You give names to them, and that's adorable. Stand at the riverbed and give names to every little spray, because that's what you know with your emotions. They're all the exact same thing. They're energy. Well, what about higher energies, like love and inspiration? Those are the energy flowing, not blocked. That's what it feels like. Love flows up, doesn't it? It's an uplifting thing. Enthusiasm, excitement, and inspiration flows up. Your other energies flow down and out because they got blocked. And so they shoot out like that. I would love if you saw your emotions that way. No one will teach you that. Everyone's so interested in your emotions. I'm not even interested in mine. They're just energy hitting blockages. I mentioned the blockages. Okay, if there's a stone that got put in the water and I want clean water flow, take the stone out. Don't sit there and mess around with the little twirls and the little sprays. That's ridiculous. That's what the Buddhists mean when they say work the root. The root of your emotions is not that somebody did something that hit your stuff and it got blocked and it goes shooting out. That's not the root of your emotions. Your emotions are your energy flow disturbed, and it shoots out and it does all kinds of things. If you want to work with it, you get rid of the blockages. You can't work directly with it. You can. And we'll talk about all kinds of paths once we lay down what Shakti is and how it expresses itself and what you're dealing with. Because every single one of you, that's why I laugh if somebody says, what is a Shakti? You deal with it every minute of your life. It has run your life. You don't know anything about it. It has run your life. Why? Do you like those emotions? No. What do you do to not have the emotions? Manipulate the outside world so it doesn't hit my stuff, so I don't have to feel the emotions. Or manipulate the outside world so that it rearranges my blockages to where they're not getting hit, and I get to feel love and joy and excitement. Oh, I can't wait to do this job. I'm so enthused until my boss tells me I did wrong. I never want to go back. So I'm going to manipulate the world. You listen to me. Instead of dealing what's inside of me that is causing the problem, I'm going to manipulate the world to try to make it be a way that matches my blockages so they don't get hit. And so there's room for the energy to go around them. All right, don't talk to me like that. I like it when you behave this way. Why are you wearing that? I told you I don't like flower dresses. That's 15th century. And it bothers me. I told you it bothers me. Why are you doing that? We talk to each other that way, don't we? But it's basically saying, from now on, say it properly. Oh my God, I have a blockage and it's being hit by your dress. I'm sorry. Don't change. I'll change. I'll get rid of my blockage. That's how you should be with everybody. But you can't, can you? Why? Because you can't handle what it feels like to have something hit that blockage and the energy get blocked, and then it don't feel good inside, does it? Has anybody ever had trouble with their emotions? How can you have trouble with an emotion? Point to it. Show it to me. I see a glass. I see a glass. I see a napkin. I don't see your emotion. What do you mean having trouble with it? I don't see anything. But my boyfriend left me. Didn't bother me that your boyfriend left you. Why is it bothering you? It can't be a real thing, right? It's very specific. What's real about it is that you have a Shakti flow. We all do. And your particular Shakti flow is being hit by something you stored inside from your past, a blockage, and you'll go home with some scars, those blockages, and your energy, Shakti, is hitting that blockage, and it's creating a commotion inside, to say the least. Can it create quite a commotion? Ever have some breakup or this or that or finance and boss and have it cause so much trouble you can't sleep at night and it only thinks about that and nothing else? And other people that have had a traumatic experience and they will never be again the same for the rest of their life. Or the people that as childhood had a traumatic experience and never talked again. That is because Shakti hit that blockage and all consciousness focused on it because it couldn't handle it. It tried to push it away to protect itself. And that's what it's doing in there. It is sitting there struggling for an entire life to not have to feel what came up, the energy that it felt. So all psychology, all this stuff is dealing with Shakti, and they just don't realize it. So we talked about acupuncture. That's more, they tend to work with the physical aspect of the energy flow. And what it does, they found, is amazing what they found, right? They found points within the body that if you, really it's magnetically, electronically, put needles in or acupressure, tap it, it will open or deal with that point and can help to release the blockage. And you can heal and all kinds of stuff can go on, okay? So prana, chi, energy flowing within the body, that is also Shakti. It's just Shakti come down to the level where it's entered the body. If it's not flowing well, it can make a mess. Now, is that the only place the Shakti flows? No. The Shakti has to flow through the mind, it has to flow through the heart in order to get to the body. That's why if you get yourself all messed up neurotically in your mind, you can get ulcers. They just accept it. Well, yogi knows exactly what's going on. You've blocked the energy flow. By the time it comes into the body, it messes up different organs. It messes up different things because it's not flowing properly. Take a blender that's perfectly fine. It's wired properly and so on. And I want you to put it into a transformer you have control over. You know what a transformer is, right? Like trains you used to work with. Kids' trains, right? Now just move it up fast, down. You go, how's it working? That's exactly what's happening when the energy flow tries to flow through your mind and your heart to make it down into the body. It can get seriously mixed up, can it? You get nervous, you get anxious, you get tense. What is tension? Energy flowing and blocked, going into that body, causing all kinds of trouble. That's why naturopathic healing and all kinds of things work. People, energy work, what's that about? The whole thing is about understanding that there's energy flowing in the body. That energy is Shakti. That's the right word for it. Yogis figured it out thousands of years ago, and that's the word they gave it. Shakti, the energy, okay? So that flows into the body, and you see what it can do and not do, and so on. So you can work with yourself at that level. So is massage good? Is energy work good? Is acupuncture good? All these things are good. They can help the body do better. The problem is they're not dealing directly with the cause, which is what happens to the Shakti when it flows through the mind that's disturbed and flows through the heart that's disturbed. Yes, you can make it better. And when I talk, I'm not knocking anything. I'm just showing you different levels at which you work with yourself. You're going to work with yourself at all these different levels. Don't worry. Is one better than the other? The one that's better is the one that you're at that level and it's working with you. So there's no judgment in this stuff. You do what you can to work at the level you're at, your understanding you have. If you want to work with the Shakti properly, you work with it at the mental and the emotional level. And in a moment, I'm going to even leave off the emotional level. Why? Because very few of you, almost none, are capable of working with your emotions the way you're capable of working with your thoughts. You don't work with your thoughts, but you're capable of it. Go on. Create the emotion of love right now, right here. Think of love. Big difference. It's pretty easy to make a thought, isn't it? Which one of you can't make a thought? Make a boat. Think about something when you're in high school. Think about it. Now, often the thoughts generate emotions, okay? You can have a thought and emotion starts coming up, but to work with that emotion directly, actors and actresses can do that. They can cry at will. But you hear what I'm saying? You know darn well it's harder to make an emotion happen, whereas it's not hard to make a thought happen, okay? So generally, you're taught, when you start getting higher, is get your mind clear. And we'll talk about that. What does it mean to get your mind clear? Every thought you have is a disturbance to the energy flow. Just the same as I talk about the blockages that mess the Shakti, some scars that mess them up. Have a thought about something that bothered you 5 years ago. I'm telling you, you get a reaction and an emotion, you get a reaction in your body, you shake, you think, you tighten up, right or wrong. That's because the Shakti has to flow through the mind to get down to the heart, to go down to the body. If you have any sort of disturbances in the energy flow, which thoughts can a thought disturb your energy flow? Of course it can. Can you get so lost in your thoughts that you're not having a good time here on earth? So your thoughts are very powerful. Not powerful because they can attract to you what you want. Powerful because they mess up you. They mess your energy flow up. And then what do? Same thing. You go outside world, and try to make everybody be and not be the way you make your thoughts be nicer. Talk to me nicely. What'd you say? Oh, you said you love me? I didn't hear you. Can you say it again? Why? It makes my thoughts be nicer, which opens my heart, which allows the energy flow to flow, and the body relaxes, and it's just beautiful, and so on. Now say something I don't like. Or watch. I'm going to think that you said something I don't like. How you doing? I'm going to think that someday you might say something I don't like. How you doing? Wake up. That's how powerful your thoughts are. Pretty powerful, isn't it? Pretty powerful. You're to think of your mind as a filter. When light passes through a filter, it comes out the other side colored in accordance to the filter. That is what your thoughts are. They're a filter that the Shakti has to flow through on its way down through the system. And if it's messed up, if its vibration isn't very high, if it's got a low vibration, such as worry, such as anxiety, such as whatever, then it's going to affect your body. You know that. Okay? Do you get tense ever? Does anxiety affect your body? It affects everything. That's why. Because the energy flow is the same energy going down through the whole system. Okay, so now you've got working with the Shakti at the mental plane. And like I said, I don't talk specifically about the emotional plane other than saying it gets messed up when the Shakti hits the blockages, because it's going to follow the mind. Your heart follows the mind, doesn't it? Okay? Here, I love you to pieces. I feel so much love in your presence. Wait a minute. Where were you yesterday? Sober. One thought, and all of a sudden the heart's doing something different. And they go both ways. I always say they're in cahoots. It's a conspiracy. Your heart can feel anxious and just feel trouble. Have you ever had a heartache? Not something you go to a doctor for. Okay? You ever had the heart hurt? Right? You know what you do when your heart hurts? You start thinking, why does my heart hurt? Was it that happened yesterday? Was it? No, I don't think so. Was it? Right? So all of a sudden, the mind and the heart are in cahoots with each other. So if the mind thinks something not so good or good, the heart can start to open. If the heart, for whatever reason, right? I told you the reason is blockages that can make the heart change because something can come up at it. I've met people, and so have you, that for years I knew them, and they were a certain kind of person. Their personality was a certain way. They dealt with things a certain way. They had a certain amount of love, a certain amount of sensitivity, not much, right? And all of a sudden, like overnight, they're a different person. They're a totally different person. They don't like what they used to like. They like stuff that they didn't used to even talk about. And all of a sudden, they're sensitive and they're yelling and they're... Have you ever seen such a thing? Does that happen? Can that happen? That is because you have these blockages inside. You've pushed them away and you try to behave a certain way. You know that. Try to be somewhat stable. But sometimes it's not easy, is it? Sometimes it's like another part of your being trying to come up here and you push it away. Well, what happens if something happens and it comes up? Sometimes it's ripe and that thing shifts in there and you can't handle it, right? And the next thing you know, it becomes who you are. It expresses itself and all your whole life changes. You understand this stuff happens. Okay, that's what's happening. I said I talked to you about Shakti. I've not talked to you about anything except Shakti. So the energy flow is coming in. It creates a personality. You create the personality by saying, this is how my energy flows better. I like it better. I feel good. You don't have to know the energy. You just know you feel better. This is when it doesn't. So now I'm going to manipulate and control my world so that it matches more than not what I like. So it makes me feel good when it happens. I love coming home. I love taking the kids to soccer. I don't feel comfortable coming home. I can't believe I take the kids. It just changes. All right. And that's because your blockages, the stuff you stored inside, your mental patterns, there are some scars that you stored in there. Sometimes they just get ripe and they pop up and you can't handle them. And you start going downhill. It's all the flow of the end. But said and done, it's the energy coming in, getting disturbed by what your mind is doing, what your heart is doing, what your blockages are doing. And next thing you know, then that's what's going on. Unless you're a very great person, we'll talk about it then, because you are great people, but I want you to understand what's going on. So it's not weird, it's not wrong, it's not right, it just is what is. There's stuff in there, isn't there? Do any of you behave differently around one group of people versus another? Like maybe around your parents than your best friends, okay? It's like there's different aspects in there, aren't there? The Shakti is the same, but it's flowing down different channels, the neural pathways for the physiological system, correct? This is yoga. These are what the yogis call nadis. Ever heard that word? Just the same as the neuroscientists have watched the neural pathways form in the brain and the body and nerve, all this kind of stuff. Tendencies go that way. There are channels for the Shakti flow. That's what the nadis is. That's what the sushumna is. That's what all this stuff is in yoga. As they see, the acupuncture system maps the acupuncture points. And the yoga system, just a slightly different system, maps these things called nadis. They're channels that the energy flows through. They kind of align with the acupuncture system, except the acupuncture system is working within the body. And nadis are dealing just with the higher vibrations of mind and so on. But there's channels. There's just channels. And if it starts going down a different channel, all of a sudden, by the time it comes down here, the thoughts change, the emotions change. There are people who walk different. That is the energy flow being affected by what you've stored inside, changing how it's flowing through different aspects of your being. And that is the person that at that point you're showing yourself. Okay? So now we have these thoughts. You all have thoughts, and you know that thoughts can change your feelings, can change your way of being, can change what you like and dislike in a moment. In a moment. Like one thing, you're working with somebody, and all of a sudden they say to you, I loved so-and-so. There's some political person or something like that. And all of a sudden you don't like them anymore. They're the same person. You just didn't know that about them. Well, I'm going to get close to you. At some point, we're going to get close to you in this talk, right? Does that happen? Can you find out one thing about a person that you didn't know, and all your thought patterns change, and your emotions change, and your entire relationship with them change? Okay? That's how it can happen. All because the Shakti is flowing in, and what you call you, which is your normal energy flow, what you call normal, it's just a particular energy flow that's making it through these samskaras and blockages and your normal thought patterns. You have normal thought patterns. They're going on in there all the time. And then you have ones that kind of usurp, take over. You were thinking a certain way for a long time. Now all of a sudden, different thoughts come in there. Okay? Those thoughts, they're very, very fluid. The point being, the Shakti has to flow through these systems, and it affects the flow of the Shakti. And by the time the energy is doing a certain thing, you can't handle it. You just, instead, you change, you leave, you change, go get in a relationship, or do this, or do that, or start drinking. You just basically do different things to try and be able to handle the energy shifts that take place in you. And one of the main things you do is try to manipulate and control everybody else so that they behave in a way that your energy flows nicely. That's almost like a definition of a human being. Right? Something that goes out there and uses all their will and effort and intellect and everything to try and control and manipulate the environment that's unfolding in front of them so that when it comes in, their energy flows nicely. And definitely control it so when it comes in, it doesn't feel bad. You do that once more, I'm leaving. I'm telling you, I'm leaving. Don't you dare even think about, don't you even think about saying it. Wow. Why are you doing that? Because you don't understand the energy. You don't see it as energy. You see, this is me. This is how I am. I've been this way ever since I was little. When I was 5, I always liked that. Well, you're not 5 anymore. You're 55. You're going to go back and say, because I was 5, I like something? Does that make sense? All right? Is that the fact that it has some history makes it worse. It means you've carried that blockage inside of you your whole life. And you probably even know where it comes from. My uncle used to pinch my cheek, and I didn't like him. I don't like it at all. Don't touch my cheek. Well, you're 43 years old. When did that happen? When I was 5, and I just don't talk to me about it. I don't want to talk about it. Just stay away from my cheek. Oh, I love that you're laughing. Because it's true, isn't it? It's because you stored this stuff in there, and it affects the flow of the Shakti, and therefore you behave accordingly, and everything happens accordingly. We'll come back and talk about what to do about it. First, I want to lay the groundwork. At some point, you catch on that you do have control of your thoughts. You do. I understand they can go crazy, but in general, you're a human being and you have control of your thoughts. Prove it. Okay. Say hello inside, right now, over and over again. Was it happening or not? Oh, you can create a thought. Now say goodbye, over and over. It'll do what you tell it to do. Your will is stronger than your thought patterns. Can the thought patterns hit some scars that are so strong that when they're releasing their energy, that they're guiding the Shakti flow to where you don't have control of your thoughts? They're just doing their thing, and their thing is being determined by the energy flow. And then when it hits the blockage, it flows a certain way, and it creates these thoughts. So that's called habitual thoughts. They're just formed by habit. The other is willful thoughts. You have the ability to create thoughts, but you got a battle going on in there because the Shakti, when it hits certain blockages, can cause thoughts to be created also and cause emotions to be created. It's all Shakti. It's all just changes in the energy flow due to the blockages, impediments that you created in the energy flow. When you're doing well, in some terms, when you're doing well and the energy flowing nicely, that is called conditional well-being. Why is it called conditional? Because it's not unconditional. Things have to be a certain way for you to be okay. Things have to be a certain way for your heart to be open. Things have to be a certain way for your mind to think nice thoughts. Things have to be a certain way. And if they're not that way, the opposite happens. So it's conditional well-being, conditional unwell-being, and so on. Is there such a thing as unconditional well-being? Yes, but we're not there yet. Just understand the difference. I don't want you out there begging and suffering and fighting and struggling. You struggle, don't you? And you worry. What do you worry about? That things won't be the way I want or will be the way I don't want. That's why you worry. Again, thoughts. Does that help? Does it make you feel better to worry? Of course not. So it's bad enough that you have these conditional things that have to be a certain way. That's bad enough. That means you can't be open all the time. Now you worry, which makes it worse. You got to pay attention to your thoughts. Worry makes you feel good. You feel good when you're worrying? No, because it's blocking the energy flow. Everything you're doing is blocking the Shakti, messing up the Shakti. Okay, next step up. And I want you to get there. You've done well enough with your thoughts to where it's fairly stable in there. You don't have to struggle all the time and so on. Maybe once in a while somebody gets a problem, but in general, you're okay. And you understand, I got an energy flow. It's my responsibility. I messed it up. What's the natural flow of the energy? Clean, way beyond clean. The natural state of your body is health. Is it always healthy? No. Is everybody always healthy? No. But if you took a study of every person that ever lived on this planet, all of them, that was 8.3 billion, and every breath they take from the beginning of their life to the end, I'm telling you that something like 99% of the time that body's healthy. The overall sum. You've got an immune system. You've got all kinds of stuff in there saying what? I was made to be healthy. Oh, but I broke my arm or I got sick. I had some, yeah, but how much breaths did you take that weren't that? How much of your life has, and some people know, but the overall average of everything, right? The body was made to be healthy. It is healthy. And so basically, it's the same thing with your inner system. The mind was meant to be healthy, not meant to make you suffer. The heart was meant to be open and feel love. You're the one who built the blockages. You're the one who built the blockages. Something happened to you in your life, somebody hurt you. Okay, I'm sorry, things happen. Have you noticed things happen? But they happen, then they stop happening. Not in your world. They happen, and I store them inside of me, and I never forget what happened. And it bothers me all the time for the rest of my life that you did that you said that to me. Now I'm insecure. Well, wait, okay, a guy or girl said something, broke up with you in high school. It's over. It's over. You're 56 years old. Why is that still in there? Answer me. Don't bother. Because there's not a rational answer. It's not rational to store the thing that happened to you inside of you when it's not happening anymore, so it messes you up for the rest of your life, as if it is happening. Why would you do such a thing? I'm admonishing you. I am, because you've caused yourself to suffer. Shakti flow is beautiful, and you can't feel it. You have it doing all this stuff, right? Again, I repeat, if something happens to you that you don't like, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 4 hours ago, I don't care. Is it happening right now over and over again? No. Then why are you in there defending yourself against it, protect yourself against it, storing it so you never have to feel it again? If you don't want to feel it again, it's over. You don't have to feel it again. Your childhood will never happen again. Whee, hooray. You don't have to go back to high school. High school leaves real marks in there. Probably nowadays it's junior high. What do I know? It gets earlier and earlier when you guys are more sophisticated. Okay? Basically, something happens. Somebody says something. Fine, it hurt. It didn't feel good. I'm sorry. Life is life. But if you then graduated and you're not anywhere near that person and there's nothing, why did you store it in there? Why? Because it's going to affect you for the rest of your life, isn't it? Does it come back up, the stuff you stored in there? And does it feel yicky when it comes back up? Then why did you store it? That's the biggest challenge I give to you. They talk to you as if, oh no, it's a natural thing. It is not a natural thing. All right? I would say to you, for the example, you go to a restaurant and order something and have it not be good. Something's wrong. It's just, I don't know, rotten. Something's wrong. And you eat it. You start eating it. And it tastes terrible. And your stomach hurts. You know what you do when you do that? Well, the right thing to do, the rational, human thing to do. Ask for a doggy bag. Take it home. Have a special room in your house called the sick room. Store all those in there, and every single morning, go in there with not a big spoon, just a small little spoon, and taste it so you never forget how sick it made you. Because you don't want it to happen again. You wouldn't do that. You would just say, man, take this stuff away from me. I'm not going there anymore. How's that? It's over. Okay? Not every time I eat, I will remember how sick that made me. Okay? But that's what you do with your emotions, isn't it? You store them inside. The entire science of psychology is based on the fact that you do that. If you didn't do that, Freud's out the window. We don't need him. Freud would study, so, oh, look at this patient. He's doing very well, but he had that problem with his mother. Okay, but he's not with his mother anymore. She died 20 years ago. Okay, fine, it's over. Nothing to study, right? But that's not what he found, is it? He found you stored that in there. Okay, I'll give you a clue. You messed up your Shakti flow. You made it conditional when it is unconditional. You are a being of unconditional well-being. Unconditional well-being. You do not need people, places, and things to be a certain way for you to be filled with love, for you to be filled with joy, for you to be inspired. You don't have to go find your passion. You're passionate about everything, unconditionally, period. That is your natural state of being. Every one of you. I don't care what ever happened to you. I don't care what. That's your natural state. Because that is the natural state of the Shakti flow. We haven't gone up past the mind yet. All right? But why? Because if you don't store that stuff inside, it's not there. Be here now. But what if the be here now doesn't feel good? Then right now doesn't feel good. And the next moment might. Don't store the thing that doesn't feel good so that every moment won't feel good. That's what you did, isn't it? That's what you did. You suppressed. That's suppression. You suppressed, repressed, denial. You kept it inside of you because you didn't want to experience it. So now you get to experience it for the rest of your life. I'm trying to wake you up. That's not rational behavior, is it? There's no reason for it. So what does it mean? It means you need to learn to handle reality and let it go. I have a rule, which I'm not perfect at, I assure you, all right? But I made this rule. I've been doing this for 55 years, every day of my life. There's nothing else to do. I mean, I did other things, but in terms of the meaning of your life, if you understand that you're a whole, complete being, it's filled with joy and love, and you're not feeling because you messed yourself up, then devote your life to not doing that. The rule was as follows. If it ain't happening outside, it ain't happening inside. Yes, what you did was painful. Yes, what you did was not nice. Yes, fine. I had trouble with it. Oh, you're not there anymore. Not doing it anymore. But maybe somebody else will. Do you know what the probability is if you throw heads 3 times in a row that the next one will be heads or tails? 50-50. It doesn't change. You lived your whole life without somebody doing that thing to you that this person did. Now that it happened once out of all the experience you had your whole life, you think it's going to happen more. Oh, I guess it happened all the time. I devote my life to have it happen. How come you didn't devote your life to having it happen before it happened? It did not change the probability. It was just something that happened. And by the way, I always say to you, at the same moment that that's happening, how many other things are happening everywhere that you're not experiencing? 800 billion zillion. So that was a 1 out of 800 billion zillion experience. Very rare. The probability did not change, but in you it did. You, as far as you're concerned, that's 90% probable it's going to happen again. Everybody could be that way. I trusted you. I can't trust anybody. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Can anybody hear me? It's not rational. It's absurd. And so you store this stuff inside of you, and then your Shakti gets messed up. And that's what's wrong. Your Shakti is messed up. If the Shakti can flow through the mind, through the heart, through the body, without being blocked, you're in good shape. And even if the body's sick, that's the last stop down there, and the body can have something wrong with it. You can do acupuncture and work with energy work to try and help, but sometimes the body's sick. Sometimes you get old, and things don't work as good as they used to. That's fine. So what? That has nothing to do with your energy flow. That's the bottom stop. There's all kinds of stations along the way that you get to experience, and that's where your joy and your love. Can you feel love even though your body's sick? Of course you can. You want to know why you don't? Because your consciousness is attracted to the lowest part of your being. If you're totally happy and you drop something on your toe, guess where your mind goes and where your energy goes, where your consciousness goes? To the toe. That's a silly place to put it. That's the last place you should put it. The toe's the part that hurts. Nothing else hurts. But you have no control over your energy flow. You know how to work with yourself. All right? Now, see, I'm talking about Shakti. See, it's a very, very sacred word. At some point, when you stop bothering yourself so much with all this garbage you stored inside, how? By letting it go. We'll talk about that. I'll make sure there's time. All right? You know how long it takes me to talk about the path of how to free yourself? Minutes. But it takes me an hour to get you interested in doing it. Because otherwise you want to go out there and adjust your life around you to fit your garbage. Don't think you don't do that. I was camping once in Florida, and I saw a rattlesnake. And I met a guy, and he's really nice, and I really like him a lot, but he lives in Arizona. And I'm not going to Arizona. Why? Because they have rattlesnakes in Arizona. Holy mackerel. You make decisions like that, don't you? All right? So basically, at some point, when you've let go enough, we'll talk about it, you're not like that. You feel this energy flow. It's rather beautiful. Keeps your heart open. And pretty much you can go through the day and go through your life, other than extreme things, with this steadiness, this beauty, love. You're excited about anything you do. We wake up in the morning, hey, man, I'm back. What's going to happen today? Right? A little plant spilling around little nowheres, and you get to have a good old time, right? At some point, this high spirituality, you will be calm enough, awake enough, undistracted enough, to it will dawn on you, where's the energy coming from? I kept talking about it flowing through the mind, through the heart, through the body. Everything has a source. Where's the Shakti come from? Of all the sciences on the planet Earth, there's all the sciences, meteorology and psychology and physics, and the one that's most beautiful and most important is the one that asks that question. And in the West, they don't ask that question. They're just busy manipulating. Okay? What's the source of the Shakti flow? That is the science of yoga. Don't you dare think of yoga as asanas. Asanas are just ways that the great ones figured out. If you position your body certain ways, then the Shakti flows more even. It can bring about healing. You feel calm. That's why yoga is considered one of the highest forms of exercise now, even in the West, different than aerobics or this or that, because it heals. It can heal and can bring calmness and so on. So the great ones figured out how to work with the Shakti flow physiologically as it works through the body. And in meditation, how to work with the Shakti flow to quiet the mind. Yoga is all about the Shakti flow. That's all yoga is about. You all think you know what yoga is. No. Yoga is the science of the Shakti flow. So who figured out where the Shakti comes from? Well, thank God, thousands of years ago, there were these great beings called rishis. Ever hear that word? Rishis. But I don't get into that stuff. But apparently there's 7 great rishis, the original rishis. They went into the caves. Why? So that they weren't being distracted by the world, by the mind, and so on. So they could study the energy flow. I feel it. I feel when it opens and closes. Where's it coming from? And what you realize at some point, you guys don't realize it now, but at some point you will. Your consciousness is always looking down. Your mind is down. From where you sit inside, it's down. You have to look down to see your mind. When you look at me, where are you looking? Out. I wonder what in is. If there's an out, there's an in. If there's a down, there's an up. But we're so distracted by what's below the consciousness, which are the thoughts, the emotions, the body, and what comes in through the senses. They are totally distract you every second of your life. It's always done that. So they draw the consciousness down. When that stops happening enough, because you're not messed up and the Shakti is flowing nicely and you kind of free yourself a little bit to be free, to not have to be struggling all the time, it will dawn on you that there's something behind where you sit, not down, behind. That's exactly what deep meditation is. Can you turn around? And you're going to realize, oh my God, I've made my world so small. I'm just staring at this mind, one heart, one body, in a little box. But the consciousness is not limited to that. I assure you, your consciousness is not limited to staring at you. It is capable of experiencing everything, but it's focusing and distracted by the stuff I've been talking about. And so the Shakti flow comes flowing down. Where the consciousness goes, the energy flows. And when you get deep enough and you ask what's the source of the Shakti flow, you will start to center. That's called centering in the seat of self. Where you are, you back there who's noticing, are in a deeper place than what you notice. You're the subject. Your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your body, the world are objects that you're aware of. Where are you sitting? That's called witness consciousness. You all heard those words. What is witness consciousness? It means, yes, I'm experiencing my thoughts, but I'm aware that I'm experiencing my thoughts. I'm witnessing that I have thoughts. I'm witnessing my emotions. Who is? The consciousness that is witnessing them, that is noticing them, that's aware of them. Well, you're obviously aware of your thoughts, yeah, but you're not aware that you're aware of your thoughts. You're so lost in them that you lost your seat of self. You lost your center of where your consciousness sits and notices your thoughts. Can you have thoughts that are so strong that you go bananas? You call, I fell. Anybody ever fall? And can your emotions make you fall? Can your thoughts make you fall? Where did you fall from? Where did you fall to? Falling is an act of going down. You were seated in the seat of self. You wish you were aware of that. You are, but you wish you were aware of that. Okay? And something happened below you that was so distracting that you got drawn down into it and didn't come back. You didn't come back. So when you fall, when you say that I fell and I'm sorry, you fell from where you had fallen before. It's a relative position. You didn't fall from the seat of self, most of you. You didn't fall from witness consciousness. I'm clear, I'm centered, everything's clear as could be. But yesterday I had a problem. That's not where most people are. Most people have a problem every day, but this problem is worse than my normal seat of consciousness, which is down in the mind. Their seat of awareness is in the ego, which is a collection of thoughts. I like this. I don't like that. I don't like what he said to me. I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I want to do in my life. You live there, don't you? You live in the ego. What I like, what I don't like, what I want. How do I get it? How do I avoid it? What happened to me in the past? There's a constant thought pattern called the self-concept. That's where your consciousness fell down into. Then you fall from there. Right? You're kind of stable. I know what I like. I'm going to think. And then he did that. And since he did that, I haven't been the same. I get so angry. And you fell from your normal state. Okay? So you're already fallen. The question is how far down you want to go. So when you stop falling, when you can establish yourself in the seat of self, the seat of consciousness, you will notice your thoughts. And you will notice you are not the thoughts. You will notice you're the one who's noticing the thoughts. You'll say things like, God, I had this terrible thought the other day. Who did? I had subject, verb, thought. I had a thought. I have a car. I have a shirt. Who's the I? Because it's the same I that has the car, that has the emotion, that has the thought. Who is that? Well, you will reach a state where you become established in the seat of self, where you're always aware of your thoughts. What if they get really bad? I had a really bad thought day. Some people have bad hair days. I had a bad thought day. Okay? You're always seated there in the seat of consciousness. You then won't get drawn down. That's where meditation, yoga can take you to help you with that seat. When you're in that seat, thoughts, they can touch you, but they can't draw you down. And you get to a point where you say, I don't want to go down there anymore. And by the way, if you push it away because you don't like it, you're already down there. You had to go down to push it away. To suppress, you need to go down there and touch the thing. To push it away. You left the seat of self to go down and suppress. So you get to the point where you're not doing that anymore. It's not strong enough. You see it. You see it could be a problem. And you know you used to go down there. You just take a breath. Bring the energy up. Start with the Shakti. Bring the chi up. Bring the energy up. Yogananda once taught, take your attention, put it at the point between your eyebrows, and never take it off. And you're guaranteed liberation in this lifetime. Don't get all excited because you won't be able to do it. Take your attention, your consciousness, your awareness of being, put it at the point between your eyebrows, sixth chakra, put it at the point between your eyebrows, and no matter what happens, keep it there first. Let it go there first. Okay? You're going to find out you can't do that. Even if you meditate a lot and then put it there, somebody says something, the phone rings, bam, the energy gets pulled down. That's when you start to understand the energy flow. When you try to put it at a higher level, and you see that the mind could draw it away from there, the emotion, everything could draw it away from there, you will reach the point eventually where you don't even have to put it at that level. It always goes to that level. Now you've done spiritual work on yourself. You will absolutely feel a pressure at the third eye every second of your life, period. It just goes there first, and then it distributes down. What does Shakti? And using the word again, now we're dealing with a higher place, a higher seat of the energy, higher than the mental. Before it flows down into the mind, it has to go through this center. Master calls it the center of Christ consciousness, the center of willful awareness. You're aware, now let it distribute. If you don't want it to, literally, I've had the honor of meeting some very high beings, all right? And one of them I'm thinking about, I ride in a car with him, a very high being, 30 years ago, more, 40 years ago. And his energy was very strong. But the energy in the car started going down. I was getting tired. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. And I looked over and he did this. Through the roof. The energy just went through the roof. I couldn't even see straight. That's all it took for him to rechannel his energy up to a higher level. How would you like that? The same as you can make a thought, you're in charge of your energy flow. You just, these things you're aware of have captured your will. They captured your energy, right? So now you're established in the seat of self. You see the mind, you see things, and you're going to find out that this is just Shakti going down into the system. But you're back behind it, and you have the ability to work with the Shakti from up here. If something starts to draw you down, you just turn your eyes up. That's what Master had to do. He just turned his eyes up, and the Shakti didn't go down into that garbage. So what did the garbage do? It just flowed through. The white lines flow through. Trees you drive by flow through. So that she said flows through. It's just very beautiful to see beings that can do that. You can see that something happened. It's kind of disturbing. All they have to do, lift their eye up. And they didn't suppress it. You didn't go down there to suppress it. You don't have to suppress it. It's going through. It's not there anymore. But it didn't make it through you, did it? But if you don't touch it, if you keep your hands off of it, by holding your energy up at a higher level, it just passes through. Now what? Now you understand that the Shakti is coming from this seat, and you start to realize that you can bring it up. That's called transmutation of the energy. It starts off as anger or this or different drives and so on. The Shakti starts to go out. You just breathe up. You just go, and all of a sudden that which was anger becomes love. That's called transmutation of the energy. You have the right to channel that energy. You're the source of the energy. You can bring it anywhere you want. So eventually you bring it up enough to where it doesn't even tend to go down. You just establish this beautiful seat every day of your life. No matter what's going on, there are things that go on that are not nice. You deal with them because you're always nice. I mean, people want to protest politics or do this. Fine, by all means, but have a good time. Be filled with ecstasy when you come down here and try to influence the world a certain way. Not, I'm angry, I'm mad, then you're bringing hatred and anger, the same thing as everybody else. So now you're up there. At that point, you will see where the Shakti came from that was flowing through the system. You realize it's up here, and you're it. You have control over it. You can work with it. You see what I'm saying? I'm pointing behind, up here. It's up here. And at some point, when you really get going up there, you wonder, where did I come from? Where did the seat of self come from? Where did the original flow of the Shakti that I'm now channeling, right? When Master came over here in the 20s, he ended up teaching at Carnegie Hall. I saw a placard. You know, they used to wear those placards as advertisement. They didn't have the web, right? So they'd wear the wooden placards over them, right? Somebody's standing out in front of Carnegie Hall with a placard that said, Swami Yogananda teaching control of the life force. Now do you understand what that is? The ability to be up there, breathe it up, channel it up, release it, whatever it is. Eventually you get to the point, where did it come from? And now I'm going to cry. Where did it come from? Yes, there's all this Shakti. Yes, it flows down. Yes, I can bring it up. Yes, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful when it flows. It's ecstasy. Literally, it's ecstasy. It's nirvana. It's just, oh my God. It's just a beautiful flow, flowing up. And it's there all the time. Eventually, you question, where did it come from? What's the source of the Shakti flow? And you realize it's coming from behind where you're sitting. You were looking down still. But when you were looking down and 2 years sitting in a seat, what's behind? There's always a behind. There's 360, guys. All right? There's always different directions. And you start to not be distracted enough to have to look down to where you realize it's pulling you up. You don't have to do anything at that point. There is a force, just like there's a force pulling you down, there's a force pulling you up. That's why they talk about the ascent. It's not something you do. You can't do it. Because then the ego, same thing. To suppress, you have to push it down. To let go of your ego, you have to push it away. Now, a force greater than you is pulling you up. And you'll realize that is the source of the Shakti. It's the source of my being. It's the source of my consciousness. It's pulling me away from what I've been looking at. I've been looking at the mind and the body. It's pulling me away from that. And that's where the great ones went. And ultimately, the rishis, the great ones who meditated their way back to that state, they realize that when you go far enough back, there's still an I. I'm going, oh, I'm ascending. Oh, I feel the Shakti. Oh, where am I going? There's still an I. that it gets to a point and you have to let go of your sense of individuality. Christ called it dying to be reborn. Now you're talking what that means. The dying of the personal self, of the sense of self-identity. And then all of a sudden, they became the universe. They felt the drop. My Baba said, my drop of consciousness that was staring at me fell into the ocean of consciousness and merged. That's what yoga means. The word yoga means union. That is the union, the oneness. These are very great sciences. I studied that. If I just studied that stuff, you know what yoga called meditation? Entering the laboratory of soul research. That's what you're doing. So that is the source of the Shakti. So I'm telling you, what you feel is anger, what you feel is lust, what you feel is passion, what you feel is love, it's all the same thing. It's all Shakti manifesting in different ways because your blockages and so on. So I said we could take a few minutes. That's all I have left. How do I get there? Let go of what you're looking at. If somebody says something to you and it hits something inside of you, it's not important what they said. This is 1 out of 8.3 billion people on the planet Earth. If they didn't say it, you'd still be lost in yourself. If they said it and walked away, can you use it? Robert used to say, use it to go to God. Can you use it to go to God? Use what? The fact that it hits something inside of you, that's the blockage. If that blockage wasn't in there, it would not hit anything. A great being, you say whatever you want to them. They feel it. They asked Ramakrishna, a great enlightened master, does an enlightened being ever feel anger? He said, yes, but it's like writing on water. Go write on water, see how long it lasts. Let's say, hey, come over, I wrote something. It just goes right through. It just passes right through. So fine, hit something, passes right through. You didn't store it. You have to defend yourself. You don't have to do anything. It just passes. But it doesn't happen now, does it? Because you get involved in it. Little by little, let go. Start with small stuff. Start with the driver in front of you. We all complain about the driver in front of us. We talk to them. They don't hear you. And you're getting upset. It doesn't change anything. That's a perfect place to work on liberating yourself. Why are you bothering to bother yourself about something you can't do anything about? It doesn't change anything. All it did was change you. You're bothered. In the new book, Living Untethered, when I interviewed with Oprah, she picked out one line, said it was her favorite line. The moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. The driver in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the driver in front of you. How do I know that? If I wasn't bothering myself, I wouldn't be bothered. Now, there are situations when it attacks me. I better do something, all right? But I don't have to deal something about something that I'm making happen that I have to deal with myself. That's ridiculous. So learn to let go. The weather, this, people, just do your best with the low stuff, the easy stuff. Learn to let go. And what you're going to find out is that as the world unfolds, it doesn't hit stuff inside of you. Why? Because it's not there. You let it go. You can let it go. And then bigger things come up. Let them go. Well, what happens, it comes up and say, well, it's fine. This happened. My parents got divorced and it really bothered me. I never talked to anybody about it. Let it go. How? Don't hold on to it. I don't understand. Yes, you do. You just don't want to do it. But it hurts. It was stored with pain. It's coming back with pain. You stored pain. It's like that food that you kept in that sick room. You stored sick food. Of course it makes you sick when you eat it. You stored problems that you had that you didn't like. You didn't experience them. And now when they come back up, it's the same energy. That's all Shakti, by the way. What you stored as a blockage is Shakti trying to flow, and she got stuck because you didn't let her flow. Your will stopped her. So now she's circling around because energy can't stand still. Energy has to move, and it's moving in a circle. See it? I'm blocking it. It's circling. That's what samskara is. So, of course, when I stop blocking it, what's going to come up? The exact energy that was there before. A smell can make it come up. A word can make it come up. That's why. What's that blockage made of? Shakti. What's will? Shakti. What's consciousness experiencing it? When it's all said and done, I'm going to stop, right? Consciousness and energy are the same thing. It's called Chit Shakti. In yoga, they call the self Chit Shakti, conscious energy. Now I've explained Shakti to you. You are the Shakti. You are consciousness. You're the Shakti. You're looking down. Therefore, your energy flows down. Eventually, you will look up and you will merge and you will realize who you are, God. Your God consciousness. The energy that created the universe is Shakti. That's another word for the Shakti. What's another name for God? Chit Shakti. What's the name for the self? Chit Shakti. Conscious energy. That's all there is. The whole universe is conscious energy. Okay. We'll have a little talk about Shakti. Well, thank you for listening. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shakti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.